Hello and welcome to the Capitol Report on NTD Television. I'm Steve Lance. New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez today saying the bribery charges against him are false. NTD's Ariane Pazdar has the details.
The allegations leveled against me are just that, allegations.
Democratic New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez on Monday denying allegations of bribery. He also shortly touched upon his political future, but stopped short of formally announcing a rerun.
I firmly believe that when all the facts are presented, not only will I be exonerated, but I still will be the New Jersey's senior senator.
Authorities found around $500,000 stuffed in envelopes and clothing at the senator's home. He allegedly took money from Egyptian nationals in return for political benefits which enriched the Egyptian government, such as military aid. Menendez on Monday commented on the cash and the allegations regarding Egypt.
For 30 years, I have withdrawn thousands of dollars in cash from my personal savings account, which I have kept for emergencies. Throughout my 30 years in the House of Representatives and the Senate, I have always worked to hold accountable those countries, including Egypt, for human rights abuses.
Menendez hired attorney Abi Lowell to defend him at the trial. That's the same attorney who's defending Hunter Biden in his gun charges case. Also on Monday, a reporter asked the White House if there's still space for the senator in the Democrat Party.
Any decision that he has to make, that's certainly going to be up to him and the Senate leadership to decide. But of course, we see this as a serious matter.
The senator did step down as the chair of the powerful Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He's required to do so under Senate Democratic Caucus rules. His trial is set to start on Wednesday. Ariane Pazdar, NTD News.
Several federal prosecutions are ongoing at the moment, including that of former President Trump, Hunter Biden, and now Democratic Senator Bob Menendez. Joining us now to offer his reaction to the prosecutions, we have Patel, former federal prosecutor and chief of staff of the Department of Defense. Patel, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Steve, thanks for having me back on the program.
Of course, as a former prosecutor yourself, when you see evidence laid out in this indictment of New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, what are you sort of seeing from both a legal standpoint and as a concerned citizen?
Well, I see what I always see as a public defender and national security prosecutor: the presumption of innocence, it doesn't change, and the public's right to view the evidence as it comes out and make their decision and then await what's going to happen in a court of law. The reality, though, when a high-profile politician such as Senator Menendez gets indicted for a second time, starkly contrasting positions of bribery, fraud, and corruption, the court of public opinion is immediately going to weigh in. And that is going to reflect how his case is handled going forward. But it's tough. I mean, look, gold bars, stacks of money, hidden in pockets and jackets, paperwork, and allegations of bribery and email and fraud that's a rough picture.
To President Biden's impeachment inquiry coming up, the first hearing on Thursday, what do you anticipate will come out of this?
Well, I mean, what I anticipate is that they will be, the Republican majority will be logjam yet again on procedural tasks and how to prosecute the case and get the documentation necessary. They have been wanting to enforce subpoenas that are already outstanding with the DOJ and FBI regarding the Biden corruption, whether it's Joe or Hunter or whoever in the family. And so I don't understand the purpose of a hearing when you don't have all the documentation. That's Investigative 101. When we ran Russiagate, we acquired all the documents, we enforced all the subpoenas, and then we put people in chairs so that we could take their testimony under oath, because you only get one crack at it. And if you're not prepared to challenge them with their lies or to provide them and the public with a full picture of what happened, then you're doing a disservice in advancing this impeachment inquiry.
So, you're proposing that this could be possibly being done in haste and that the Republicans run the risk of, having a sort of a bad look here.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're doing it to catch up on time because the last 9 months they've spent not enforcing any subpoenas. They've allowed Merrick Garland and Christopher Wray to break the law and commit contempt of Congress. And they've allowed them to not be prosecuted for it. And so the executive branch has taken over all of Congress's constitutional oversight authority. They've completely ceded it out to them. And why would they respond now? Why would they work with Congress now when they know the enforcement function that Congress has is not being utilized? And so I just think it's a political potshot. And if they wanted to get serious, they would go and get every document, go and have those individuals prosecuted for contempt of Congress proceedings, and then advance the inquiry.
Cash, you have former President Trump, sitting president of the United States at the time, obviously, 4 indictments. A current sitting president, President Biden, his son indicted, an impeachment inquiry against the sitting president, President Biden. Now you have the chair of the Foreign Relations Committee in the Senate, Bob Menendez, indicted. What's going on in our country?
Yeah, the look is not good overall. But what you're seeing is the overall politicization of justice and law enforcement. And that, to me, is what's emblematic of everything you just outlined. Whether or not you like Donald Trump or dislike Joe Biden or are a big Senator Menendez fan or what have you is not the point. The point is they're putting on, in my opinion, a specter of justice, an illusion of law enforcement that is arbitrarily applied to fit a political narrative or a shifting wind in the mainstream media. And that's what you see here. I mean, we are now, 2.5 years into a Biden presidency, and we had to force the prosecution of his son for a simple felony gun charge that literally, I've handled 1,000 of them, takes about a week to investigate, prosecute, and charge. And now we're 5 years down the road. And we've let the statute of limitations cede on most of those charges. We don't know the status of President Biden's inquiry into the unlawful possession of classified documents. But when it comes to President Trump, they move with great haste, and they say he's guilty of insurrection and possessing classified documents. But when it comes time to charge, the very DOJ that says that doesn't charge him with those crimes. And so people are left wondering, what is the status of law? Do you apply law to fact and make decisions based on the Constitution, or do you make them arbitrarily? And it seems to me it's the latter.
Cash Patel, as always, thank you.
Hey, thanks, Steve. Have a great day.
The deadline for a government shutdown just days away. The White House directing blame to the Republicans as new polling showing warning signs for President Biden's 2024 bid. NTD's Iris Tao brings us more from the White House.
As we inch closer to the Saturday deadline for Congress to fund the government, the White House has this message.
House Republicans' chaos continues to march us toward an extreme Republican shutdown. We're going to hold them accountable for the reckless cuts they are demanding as a condition for keeping the government open.
And President Biden also calling out Republicans.
It's time for Republicans to start doing the job America elected them to do.
The finger pointing comes as some hardline Republicans are opposing spending plans on the table, saying the government spends way too much.
You can't keep spending $7 trillion when you're only taking in $5 trillion. That just doesn't work.
But the Republican House Speaker says lawmakers should avoid a government shutdown.
Why would they want to stop paying the troops or stop paying the border agents or the Coast Guard?
But as the White House is using this moment to accuse Republicans of playing political games, a new poll shows that if a government shutdown indeed happens, Americans would pin the blame more on Democrats than on Republicans. The White House defends itself.
I can't speak to your polling, but what I can speak is to the facts. This will be a Republican shutdown.
Meanwhile, former President Trump on Sunday called on Republicans to shut down the government unless they get everything. He added that whoever is the president will be blamed. And a showdown between Biden and Trump is coming up as both of them are heading to Michigan to talk to striking auto workers. And Biden's getting there on Tuesday, and Trump will speak on Wednesday. Reporting from the White House, Iris Howe, NTD News.
Thank you for that, Iris. And in the poll that Iris just mentioned, former President Trump took a big lead over President Biden in a recent poll. The poll being released yesterday by ABC and the Washington Post, having Trump up 9 points over Biden in a 2024 rematch. Trump came in at 51%, Biden at 42%. 54% of Republicans polled said Trump was their first choice for a 2024 primary pick. Only 33% of Democrats asked said Biden would be their first choice, with 62% saying they would pick someone else. 44% of those surveyed said they are not doing well financially since Biden took office. Only 15% said they're doing better off under Biden. Overall, Biden's approval rating came in at 37%, with over 60% disapproving of his handling of the economy and immigration at the southern border. Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.